This is a test. Ooh, Pro Circuit logo. Q. Enter to start, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle, and today I'm going to be looking at a game between ROOTCatZ, who has to be one of the most innovative Zerg players I have ever seen, from the Americas, against EGAxslav, who is a very, very well-known Protoss in general from America. And this is going to be on the MLG Pro Circuit. Zelnaga Caverns, which doesn't surprise me in the slightest because it said Pro Series at the start, so that makes a lot of sense. So this is going to be an interesting game between these two players, no doubt from the MLG something or other, something. I'm assuming it's either just a practice game or actual some qualifiers for the MLG, so we'll have to soon see. I'm just going to speed this up ever so slightly as I have a coaching session very, very soon. Each player here looking to be playing a very standard game, no cheese going on just yet. We do have 13, 14, ooh, a little bit of lag there. Let's just slow this down, that's a bit silly. So we do have ROOTCatZ here at this point, not going for much at the moment. I was expecting him for going for a quick expansion, but he is going to be blocked off by this little probe here. So he's really going to need to be able to deal with that. Oh, actually has thrown down a spawning pool and an extractor. Very well played there by ROOTCatZ. Not going to be delaying him too much in his alternate build. We do have EGAxslav here at this point, going to be throwing down that gateway as well as an assimilator and a new pylon. And once again going to be playing very standard here. Going to be putting his cybernetics core there just so he makes a little choke down this way here. I personally don't like that method that much, but each to their own, each to their own. Drone coming in here, going to be scouting around the base, and I'm quite interested to see what ROOTCatZ is going to be doing during this game, as I have always been quite a fan of ROOTCatZ when it comes to PvZ. And to be fair, that I have had such problems with PvZ as of late. It is by far my worst matchup, but we deal on, so I'm interested to see what EGAxslav can do here, throwing down that pylon there just to deny that expansion even longer. And ROOTCatZ here going to have quite a few minerals, so I'm not going to have anywhere to spend it just yet, although that pylon has been cancelled. I'm going to be coming back here, no doubt, to put down the pylon once again and then cancel it once again. So hopefully he's looking to not waste those minerals at all, or 3/4 of those minerals anyway. So that cybernetic core has finished. This drone's going to want to get out, but he's going to be blocked. No, he's not. He's going to phase through that zealot because he's a clever little drone. And second gas now going down for EGAxslav as well, and that pylon does actually finish for EGAxslav, so he's going to be able to block that expansion for quite a while. I'm quite interested to see, wow, holy laggerballs. I'm quite interested to see what ROOTCatZ is going to do in this position. He's probably just going to end up picking away at this and then expanding in due time. I'm imagining we're going to see a 3-gate expo from EGAxslav. He is gearing up to certainly do that. I'm going to see quite a few sentries coming out here at this point, and just going to be chrono boosting the hell out of that warp gate. But at the same time, ROOTCatZ here going for an interesting placement of that expansion. Yeah, I'm not sure how he's going to manage to protect that. I'm assuming he's just going to be able to try and keep it secret for a little while. But we do have that third gateway indeed going down for EGAxslav, so he's going to be pumping out God knows how many sentries. And I've actually dabbled with a quite interesting build against PvZ, which is fooling them into thinking you're going to this kind of sentry expand build thing, and then quickly throwing down a Stargate and pushing with Void Rays. It sometimes does work, but you really need kind of the element of surprise, so there is a little bit of a gamble to it, a bit of a toss of the coin, and that probe is seeing everything in this base, and at this point EGAxslav is going to be pretty damn confused. I'm assuming he's going to know there is some kind of hidden expansion, because he scouted the main and the natural and saw nothing but this, so he's going to know something is going on. EGAxslav here just kind of continue to produce drones, and he really should turn these into warp gates and get that expansion underway. Indeed, he is sending a probe out here in order to get that expansion on the way. Sending a zealot up to the watchtower to be able to take out this single Zergling, but this Zergling is going to block for just a second, and although he's quite low on health, so he's going to be running back to that sentry support anyway and taking that expansion with due time. Oh, so ROOTCatZ now going to be going with that natural expansion, and really interesting play here. I'm really, here we go, EGAxslav is going to be coming up here, so maybe his senses will be kind of stifled slightly, and he will think that this is just an extremely late expansion, and actually not knowing about this expansion here is going to be extremely detrimental to EGAxslav in the coming minutes of this game. So EGAxslav is going to be throwing down that expansion with a Forge expand, so I'm going to be throwing down at least one cannon I should expect in order to be able to fortify this position as best he can. Throwing down a robotics facility as well, so no doubt going to be going for some Colossus at any time soon, and since Zerg always seems to favour this Roach Hydra build against Protoss, you never really see much else other than that. You normally do see a few muters on occasion, but that's sort of becoming quite rare now, which I am personally glad of, because I hate muters to within an inch of my life. They are disgusting and horrible, but it doesn't really matter at this point because EGAxslav isn't going to be facing that right now. So ROOTCatZ just going to be evolving into a layer, no doubt going to be going for that roach speed, and going to be pumping out a lot of roaches. We do have 5 roaches on the production tab now, so we really need to see Axslav find this base here, otherwise he's going to fall behind quite a lot, not knowing that it is there. And we do actually have Burrow on the way as well for Cats, so he's going to be doing quite a big, probably, roach push with Burrow. And but at the same time, probably observers are going to be out indeed for Axslav, so he's going to be fine to be able to deal with this. Placing a few photon cannons in the mineral lines, always a very, very clever idea, throwing down another gateway. And these cannons will just be able to ward off pretty much any kind of burrow harass that does come along with ground support. And we do now notice these roaches are moving along the field in order to try and pick up that zealot. They do get that zealot, and these roaches, one does go down. Claw flying away there. Wow, I've never realised that. And now at this point, EGAxslav realises his base is here, and he's going to be mounting an assault with extreme force here. A lot of roaches are coming out though, are going to be popping here and going to be bringing these roaches from the backside in order to be able to kind of sandwich these units. But really nice placement there by EGAxslav, going to be bringing his units around here to try and stop a lot of those drones escaping, and he does indeed. Still great force fields there, preventing a lot of these Zerglings from actually getting in, but they have taken that supporting pylon out, so EGAxslav at this point is going to want to make an escape down the back here, and I think he will be doing more great force fields there from EGAxslav. Really doing a good job here of controlling these units and their movement, but going to be need to run away. He could throw down 2 force fields here to prevent an attack, but it doesn't in the end, and these stalkers are going to be able to get away with this one zealot, Zergling picking at them. But these roaches are in hot pursuit, so EGAxslav really needs a few more units there in order to be able to reinforce that position. And he has to go down the Assimilator, and an Immortal is on the way, so he should be okay against this push. Although he failed to actually kill this expansion, so this is going to prove really bad for EGAxslav if that continues to be up for such a long time. Nice concave here by these roaches, and getting a lot of shots off on these zealots, but there's just too much here. This Immortal will prove to be the bane of these roaches if he doesn't get out of here in a due time. Woo. So, what do we see now? ROOTCatZ just going to be reinforcing this position with a lot of Zerglings, and could in fact mount an assault if he got a good surround off on these stalkers, although I think EGAxslav will react in time and actually pull those back to a building so that they don't actually get a surround. Looks like he's going to be gearing up here to take these rocks out and make an expansion there, but at the same time CATZ is going to be gearing up to take this gold expansion. And once this gold expansion does go down for CATZ, then he's going to be in a very far economic lead. We do have more Immortals coming out for EGAxslav, but it doesn't look like that's going to be able to do too much for at the moment, as CATZ at the moment just producing a lot of Zerglings, and Zerglings will demolish a big Stalker Immortal heavy build. So he really needs good force fields with these sentries in order to be able to deal with that amount of Zerglings with such a composition. So he is throwing down that third now at the 12:30 minute mark. And just coming to the income tab here, we do see that both players are really quite even pegging. The base down here did have a lot of disruption to it, so he really needs this gold base up and running and to saturate this base in order to be able to actually keep up with the Protoss. As you can see, the Protoss is actually ahead in Harvesters, and that can happen sometimes if being harassed enough, and as you saw down here, the harassment did do quite a lot of damage to this this position. He did take a lot of casualties with units, and thus once he actually takes those casualties, he really feels the need to reinforce, otherwise he could just get pushed and taken out basically. But at the same time, we do have still even more probes coming out for EGAxslav. EGAxslav doing a fantastic job of making those probes. And if we just come to the unit counting station, we see 34 Zerglings. So if they were to get a nice surround on these units, then they could actually do a lot of damage. But I really do think that force fields on these perimeters of these units could quite easily stave that off, especially with 4 Immortals there in order to be able to rain down havoc on those roaches. Little Zergling scout coming in there, and a huge push going to be coming around from the back of EGAxslav. EGAxslav really needs to get back with all his units here, and indeed he is returning now. But oh my god, so much damage is going to be done to this mineral line of EGAxslav. He's going to be coming up here, probably trying to trap as many of these units in, trying to no doubt divide these units here, because these units alone could do a lot of damage to his force, and probably really needs to throw up a Guardian Shield if he's going to engage this. Odd placements of those force fields, I really think that did more harm than actual good, and going to be forced to run away, ROOTCatZ there, but he did do a massive amount of damage to the economics of EGAxslav. As you can see on the income tab now, we can see that ROOTCatZ has caught up with that attack, and very rightfully so. That was a brilliantly timed attack by Katz there. He noticed that he was moving out with this creep spread, and does take out an Overlord there. So he's he's actually going to need to move back with this, otherwise he's going to do a lot of damage. Nice force field placement there, just holding these units at bay whilst he takes out a lot of those Zerglings, and not too bad a placement there, although I really wouldn't engage down here. It's always a really bad idea to kind of engage up a ramp, although he doesn't have an observer there. But really, the Zerg could have probably got a better concave off in comparison to the Protoss concave, since he doesn't have as much room to move around. So it looks like, do these Hydras have? They do have increased range, so he's going to be able to try and pick off at these probes, and indeed he is. And if we go into the production tab here, we do have a robotics bay that has just finished for EGAxslav, so he's going to be producing some Colossi anytime soon. We do have armor level 1 as well on the way, but weapons level 1 is already finished. Nice force fields there, just cutting off a few of those units, all these units in the back, dancing around. And ROOTCatZ here in a bit of a spot of bother. He really needs to kind of reinforce with more units in order to be able to fend off any kind of counter push that does come, because this is a menacing force here from EGAxslav in comparison to the forces that ROOTCatZ does have. He does have quite a few Hydras here, and he is reinforcing with quite a lot of Zerglings and Roaches, even making a macro hatch to be able to support this income from 4 bases. But again, this base really isn't doing much. All these mineral patches have way too many minerals left on them, and he really could be saturating that a lot better. So we do have thermal lances on the way for EGAxslav, as well as Colossus, as said before, and we do have double Evo chamber now going down for ROOTCatZ, but he is just going to be pushing around here, trying to disrupt the economy, I can't even speak today, it's terrible, economy line of EGAxslav even more, but he's going to be forced to pull those probes away. Really nice play once again from ROOTCatZ, but the big downside to this for ROOTCatZ is these Hydras are so slow off creep. Really would like some creep spread around that corner in order to be able to do as much damage as possible while still being able to retreat. So all these units are actually separating themselves really badly here. EGAxslav's going to be able to pick off quite a few of those units and try and pick off some of these as well if he can get up there in time. But the Protoss ball is just so immobile. It's a really annoying thing to have to face with a Protoss if you do have such mobile units to fight against. And we do have a Spire now on the way, as well as a few Spine Crawlers. ROOTCatZ here really feeling confident with his position and just going to be throwing down quite a lot of Spine Crawlers in order to stave off any counter-attacks that do come his way. In fact, he is grabbing a 4th expansion at this close-by expansion, so he's going to be able to do quite a lot of economics. His economy is going to be fantastic if he does get away with this for too long. Do have weapons level 1 and carapace level 1 on the way for Zerg, but at the same time, you know, EGAxslav is holding his own to a certain extent. He is going to be transferring a few probes here from this main to his naturals, and going to be just continuing to produce those Colossus. But at the same time, the more he really needs to kind of make a push happen soon, because if he doesn't, then there's going to be the Spire out, and Corruptors will be coming out very soon after that. ROOTCatZ at this point does have quite a massive pool banked, and he could produce so many Corruptors in such a short period of time, so it's going to be really bad for EGAxslav if he does actually end up having that happen. But at the same time, we do have a counter-attack here. A lot of Zerglings going to be picking off at this natural, and EGAxslav just being decimated at this point by the mobility of Zerg in comparison to the mobility of Protoss. He's really spreading himself quite thinly in comparison to the ways in which Zerg is assaulting. This base does go down, and all these units are going to be taken out, but again, the damage has been done. Taking this natural out constantly and crippling the economy of EGAxslav is just too much to bear for a Protoss player against a Zerg. A lot of Colossi here now roasting away those Hydras. Massive damage being done to those Hydras. I was tempted to say terrible, terrible damage, but let's not do that. Not here, not now. And well, these Stalkers are going to be forced to come up here and try and take out that base, but they really aren't. I'm pretty surprised by that. He is taking out a few of those creep tumors, but look at the map at this point. So many units on the map for Cats, and he's just... EGAxslav here looking pretty desperate, just going to be pushing in, trying to take out as many of these units as possible. Pretty pointless force field there, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see yet another counter-attack here from Cats. Going to be moving around with these Zerglings. All these Zerglings getting fried. They really needed more support than just themselves, because this got absolutely decimated by these Colossus. These Colossus are going to be coming down here and killing off a lot of these Hydras. But oh my god, EGAxslav on no bases now. So he's going to have to long distance mine from this base. But all these units did get taken out, and now all Cats has to do is mass up a nice big ball of units and stay alive for a while, because his economy is massive in comparison to EGAxslav's. As you can see, 120 minerals in comparison to 1600, so that is going to prove really bad for EGAxslav in these coming minutes. We do have Blink on the way, but again, I'm really not sure what he can do against this superior economy. ROOTCatZ just going to be suiciding these Colossus into the ball and taking out as many of these Corruptors as possible. He quite easily could have stayed in there, taken out all the Corruptors, and then dealt with the rest of the units by other means, since EGAxslav at this point is just forced to have such a bad economy. Nice picking off of that Colossus there, really kind of nice timing on swinging around and killing that. But at this point, I'm really not sure what EGAxslav can do. He's really in a bad spot. So, I'm just waiting for the GG at this point. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, because ultimately, EGAxslav really can't do much. He is going to be pushing in here, going to be trying to take out a few of these spine crawlers and taking out as much as possible. But these Corruptors are going to come around here and kill all these Colossus off, and then this ground ball is going to be able to move in for the kill. Probably going to have quite a few corruptions going off there, and as you can see, nice timing there by ROOTCatZ, just piling in as soon as those Colossus do go down. And nice force fields though, not taking it away from EGAxslav. Really nice force fields and good use of Guardian Shield there, just trapping a lot of those units and doing massive damage. So even with just a crippled economy, EGAxslav is really using his units so effectively against this force of Cats. Again, really nice force fields, need to be so quick on that, and EGAxslav is proving that he is such a master of those force fields, really doing a lot of damage to that ball, where initially he wouldn't have been able to if he'd have let all those units come in. So, big mistake here really by EGAxslav, although he is pretty desperate, so he can't really do much else. Nice force fields there blocking off the reinforcing units, but again, he's going to get sandwiched here, and it's going to be spelled pretty much GG at this point. He really needs to throw a Guardian Shield up in order to negate as much of that damage as possible, but alas, he does not have the energy, and once again, nice force fields blocking off those units. But that is going to be all she wrote for EGAxslav, it seems, and ROOTCatZ is going to leave here as the victor in this, what seemed to be a pretty damn good match. So, thank you very much for watching this, guys. I hope you found this entertaining, and if you like what you see, please subscribe, and if you would like to subscribe, yeah, do that. I'm pretty sure I already said that. Great. Pro Circuit, yeah!